started right here. I'ma talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real quick, cause it's Tynee Talks. And I'ma talk about it. Yeah, cause it's Tynee Talks. And I'ma talk about it. And welcome to the Tynee Talks podcast, the podcast that educates and entertains, the podcast where you come to laugh and, of course, learn. I am your host, Tynee, and I have an exciting episode today. It is called Reign Supreme with Homecoming Queens. It is a series, and our first guest, it will be Miss Nia McNeal, hailing from Sugar Land, Texas, the sweetest city. She is the 91st homecoming queen and queen to represent the Prairie View A&M University. And before we get into it, I want to let you know that this show is powered by HBCU Only. They are raising the bar in HBCU celebration. So go on and head over to HBCUOnly.com and go ahead and check them out. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Miss Nia. Not only does she hail from Sugar Land, Texas, the sweetest city, as she told me, she is also brilliant. She is a computer science major at Prairie View A&M University, where she is a junior. She is in the Honor Society of Phi Eta Sigma, and she is also in the National Society of Black Engineers, NSBE. I know that well. Several of my friends are a part of that. And she believes in using your voice to nurture your confidence, and she's letting the people at Prairie View know, all those students know, that our past allows us to have access for the future. So without further ado, welcome Miss Nia McNeal.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. This is so exciting, and I can't wait to get into the conversation.
I'm so happy to have you. Thank you for agreeing to be on the show. In honor of you in Prairie View, I found the only purple that I had in the house.
I love it though. It's fitting.
It's my choir shirt at church. And then I wore my queen. I don't know if you can see. I wore my queen earrings.
Oh, those are cute. I like them.
Because I all hail to the queen. I wrote you a little song.
Oh, I want to hear it.
You want to hear it?
Yes.
You may have heard it before. She's your queen at PV.
Yes.
A queen with direction to fuel your royal fire. That's for you.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So I wanted to give my audience a little background of homecoming queens at HBCUs, because this is the podcast that not only educates but entertains, but educates as well. And I found a quote from Dale Williams. He's the founder of the Leadership for Queens, which is focuses on mentorship and professional growth for HBCU queens. He said, it's just as important as having a college band or cheerleaders. It identifies our standards of beauty. And Dale was also the reigning homecoming queen of college queen from 1992 to 1993 from Tennessee State University. She says, quote, "You can't compare us to Miss America and Miss USA, for we were established on our campuses, showing you that academia was important." So she's basically saying that the college queens for HBCU was not just about your aesthetic, but it was also about your brain. So brains and beauty. What do you think about that?
I mean, with my university, we had, from my experience, the 54th Scholarship Pageant. So that was where we were able to award the recipient from when they won the crown, that you were able to have scholarship because of your academics. And we also have guidelines and requirements to be able to uphold the crown because you're a student leader. So you should be a student leader in every aspect. So somebody that has a good GPA, social skills, just an overall well-rounded person. And I believe 100% that that's what a queen exhibits, is somebody that is able to uphold good grades and a good representation for the university.
I love that. I read that you are a 5th generation Prairie View attendee. Yes, oh my God, what a powerful legacy. How does that impact you as being the 91st Miss Prairie View A&M University?
So honestly, when I picked PV, they didn't even know it went back that far. But when I picked PV and even decided to run for Prairie View, for Miss Prairie View, it made people start talking. It was like, oh, this person is connected to this person, and all of that. And honestly, it's just truly a blessing. With my university, originating from a plantation, being a land grant university, and being now a university where there's several colleges within and it's so large. To be able to be a recipient of that in my family, it was passed through my family. Not that it wasn't forced, it wasn't it was influenced, going to the homecomings. They knew what they were doing, taking me to
Yeah.
the homecomings and having fun. But so I got that exposure and that experience earlier on. But honestly, it's just a blessing to now be able to be the representative for the university that my family was, finally being able to be pursue a future in education.
I love that. So, of course, naturally, I would have to ask, what prompted you to run in the royal court for the position of queen?
Okay, so this one is a doozy. It's a little story. So originally, I did not have Miss Prairie View on my charts going into an HBCU. I came from Sugar Land, a very diverse environment and community, but it lacked a lot of African American culture. Mm-hmm. So that really influenced me heavily to go to an HBCU. And going from an environment that wasn't engulfed in African American culture was very hard to have a support system for me. I was in leadership positions. I was on the dance team, so I held 2 leadership positions when I was in high school. However, I didn't have the best support while obtaining that. And I was 14, 15, 16 is when you really need that support system and that advice and guidance. So coming to college, was very shy, very quiet, didn't speak.
I couldn't imagine.
Right. I just, to me, I'm looking back and I'm like, 3 years has changed. I've just evolved. And I mean, that's what college is for. But I never would have thought Miss Prairie View was going to be my future. But I went to college. I decided to get involved in organizations. I joined the Bells of Prairie View. And from my first experience with that organization, my advisor actually prompted me and said, you should look into Miss Prairie View. I was a freshman, so I couldn't apply. I didn't meet the requirements. So I took a good 2 semesters to think about it. She definitely kept filling me up, reassuring me, telling me, you're qualified. You just believe it. That's just the last factor, is you need to believe it. And helped me through that process of getting myself prepared mentally for something that was going to be so life-changing. And from that experience, I ended up applying, and the rest is history, honestly. So she saw a lot in me, and I was able to see what she was seeing in me in due time. And I'm very grateful for her seeing such a positive outlook in my life that I could do for the university.
I love that she saw that light in you. The light was always there, and it was probably flickering for you, but
Yes.
she helped you to illuminate that light. You're so beautiful. I couldn't even imagine you 3 years ago just being a shy young lady.
Yes.
You're so confident and just beautiful. So thank you for that. Thanks. Shout out to her. What's her name?
Her name's Miss Brandon.
Hey, Miss Brandon. She's a gem.
Yes, she is. She is.
So, how do you see your role as a college queen contributing to the HBCU community overall?
So, with our platform, being a queen and having that ability to speak on a lot of things, I am a huge advocate for HBCUs. I think I believe anybody, people of color, needs to go to HBCU. You don't feel like you're a number. You have so much support and so much love that you get as soon as you walk on campus. I remember my first experience. I had said something to somebody, and he overheard me and was like, I don't even know how that even connects to you. And he doesn't even know me.
Right.
So I was like, that type of love right there was just, it made me really think about what I was saying about myself, number one. And number two was like, okay, I already have supporters that don't even know who I am. And it's honestly a big family. It's a huge community. So with my role and my position, it's really just advocating for HBCUs. I am biased because PV's been in my family and it's done a tremendous amount of work on me. But HBCUs were meant to educate African Americans and to benefit them and benefit us. So with that, honestly, any HBCU, just pick an HBCU that can allow you to expand and grow, because you're going to see yourself transform into somebody that you possibly never could have imagined when you stepped foot as a freshman on your campus.
I love that. Do you think if you would have gone to a PWI, do you think your confidence would have shot through the roof like it has at Prairie View?
I don't know. I feel I wanted to be active on campus. So I really can't say yes or no. But I would say the journey of it, I had a better personal connection with people to get me to the level that I am. I don't know if I would have gotten that at a PWI. I probably would have had to do a lot more on my work on myself independently and have to go through that, probably go through with some friends and have the support system with that. But to have advisors and mentors on campus at PV, that helped the process a little bit more easier to transition into the me I am now.
I love that. In what ways do you connect with and support fellow students at your HBCU?
So with my platform being nurturing and navigating through owning your individuality, I've hosted a few events. So one of them was affirmations. I would post on my Miss Prairie View page, and just affirmations where I encourage the students to speak it to yourself. Say it in front of a mirror. Say, instead of I am, say your name. You could trick your brain a little bit when you feel a little insecure about certain things to start believing the things that you feel inadequate in, and start to feel filled and restored in those weak points. And I also had a few events where I had guest speakers come in, and they even talked about affirmations and how important it is to make sure the circle that you're around is positive, and that they want to be your cheerleaders, that they want to see you grow, and they're not, gossiping behind your back when you're not around them. And that is very important in progressing in life, is being around a support system that is positive and want to see you thrive.
What advice would you give to someone who really wants to turn to a positive note, and they're around what we call haters? Like, they're around negativity all the time, and they want to break free from that group to get into a group like the ones you surround yourself with. What would be the advice that you give them to break away?
Honestly, my biggest advice is to get in a room by yourself, close the curtains, no music, no noise, no nothing, nobody around you, and just sit with your thoughts. Think about how you feel. Think about how you would love to be treated. Think about, just be more in tune with yourself. And then once you get those aligned, jot down in a journal. And then from there, it's apply that to your life. See what you feel needs to get fixed. If you need to boot some people out of your life, do that, and don't feel sorry. Don't feel apologetic for something that's going to benefit you in the future. In a sense, you have to be selfish. You have to put yourself first. And especially in this era that we're in now as young ladies and young women, you're able, and it's accepted and okay to put yourself first. Like, you are developing yourself into an adult, into a woman. So take that time now when you have it to benefit yourself, to improve on the things that you need to. And if your group of people aren't supporting you, it's okay to be like, I need to take time to myself. I need to better benefit myself. So that's what I would say, is get by yourself, get a journal, and be with your thoughts.
Miss McNeal, let me tell you something. You are light years ahead of the game. There's people. I'm in my late 30s, and there's people in my age group. I'm a millennial. You're a Gen Zer. But it took some time for them to get to that level of understanding, of just being by yourself, getting with those thoughts, because sometimes it's hard to break away. And so you're light years ahead of the game, and you're such a beautiful mentor and role model. You talked about affirmations.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just led a goal setting workshop with my students. And we just talked about, speaking those good things over yourself. And so I had them do an exercise where they had to partner up. And they had, for 60 seconds, just say only good things about themselves to their partner. And then another 60 seconds, and vice versa. And many of them, it started off a little rocky because we're not used to speaking nice of ourselves.
Exactly.
Because we're used to, if you're too confident, and this is an example I gave, if you're too confident, it's, who does she think she is?
Yes.
So I told them to go into 24 being okay with, who do I think I am? I know that I am ... exclamation point, and you be those things. I identify as a Christian. So one of the principles in the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So those affirmations are so real. So you got to speak beauty into your life, happiness, joy. If you think ugly, you are ugly. You think you're beautiful, you are beautiful. So the mind is so powerful. And it literally is so cliche, but what you think can change your outlook in life. So I'm glad that you use affirmations to support and help students see their greatest potential, like your dance coach saw the potential in you to propel you forward.
Yeah. I mean, from the journey of being Miss Prairie View, that's honestly what kept me afloat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it might seem weird, but it's okay to talk to yourself, like just make sure nobody's listening, but get in the mirror and just talk to yourself, because you are your utmost supporter, your utmost best friend. Nobody else can be closer to you than yourself. And if you can't be a supporter of yourself, then how can somebody else give you that reassurance? Like, you have to feel that within yourself first. And the only way you can do it is talk to yourself, like literally engage in a conversation. Like, just be like, how do you feel? Like, okay, this is how I feel. And it just takes you like monument. Like, I grew so much in just realizing that it's okay to talk to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Even if they think you crazy, it's like, listen, I'm having an executive meeting right now with me.
It's imperative for me to get there. Exactly.
Yes, it's imperative that I have this board meeting right now. So how has being an HBCU Queen shaped your personal and professional aspirations? I know you're into computer science, so how is that shaping you?
So going back to the high school shy side of my life, I was like, computer science, got to talk to people. Thought I was introverted. I was like, this is for me.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it's not really something for me. I ended up joining, or was a part of a program with NASA.
Mm-hmm.
And I had gotten late. I had gone to the program or the room late due to finals and stuff. But the only computer that was available was the one at the back by myself.
Yeah.
And we were working 8 to 5 by myself. I said, I can't. I had to walk around. I had to touch some grass. I had to do something. I could not be by myself. I'm different. So,
wait a minute. What major was that first? Was that computer science?
Yes, yes, ma'am. This was in December. This was in like last month. Mm-hmm. And that really was a huge reflection. I said, yeah, we're going to have to rethink this. But in high school, I was on an endorsement track, and that was law. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I had a huge insecurity of public speaking. I said, there's no way I can get up in a crowd and talk to people. Like, small groups, yes, but big groups, no. And Miss Prairie View took me out of that insecurity. It was really that weakness that I had, and strengthening it and building it into something that I felt more comfortable and being adequate in, like just being able to speak to. Well, first of all, you're speaking to a lot of people. Number one, you have public speeches, you have mm-hmm. galas, and you have to speak to alum. Like, you're always on camera, you're always on. So mm-hmm. it really got me to build on that weakness that I had, and now I honestly want to go to law school. So yes, yes. And I want to combine the two, so it's not just that I went to school for 4 years and this degree is redundant, but I want to study cyber laws. So that's my plan for after my junior year of college, is to get into that.
Nia, you my shero. It is so important for young people, and I can't wait for this episode to air, because young people need to know it's okay to pivot.
Yes.
Because you're in your junior year, so you're like, oh my God, it would be crazy, academic suicide for me to change majors at this, juncture right now.
Exactly.
And you're like, okay, I got to think quick. And I'm so glad you had that experience with computer science, because a lot of people, I think pick majors basically because they think they're an introvert, or maybe someone told them, you're not good with people, all these things that, bring them down and shuffle or funnel them into a career path that they're going to be miserable for the older they get, mm-hmm. Not to say that you can't change as you're older, but trust me, it's so much easier to do things when you're young and vibrant. But I love that you had the experience. So with that being said, how important is it for people to intern or job shadow so that they can know this ain't for me?
It's very important. I have friends that, they've had experiences at Ivy Leagues, and they came back saying, that's not what I want to do. And I mean, that's a recognition in itself, but the exposure and experience, you can learn so much in a classroom, but until you put that into action and seeing, could I envision myself doing this every day at 8 to 5, or if you can create your own schedule remotely, like, do you see yourself doing this all the time, is honestly what can decipher if this is what you're going to see in your future. This is what you're going to want to aspire to be. But definitely internships. I mean, I have one this summer and it's with Wendy, but it's remote. So I'm an IT specialist. So I get to experience, okay, how would it feel like to work at home? And you grasp different observations and different feelings towards certain things. Maybe I want to be in person because I talk too much. I need to talk to somebody, like to be by myself. I'm gonna have to do work with my friends and say, hey, come over and let me do work. So it teaches you a lot about what you like and what you don't like. So it's definitely important to get that exposure in every chance that you get, which my university does such a great job in doing that. The career services, they put you on game, like they're ready for you. Like they have so many opportunities out there, from luncheons to listening to people speak and just, grasping and being a sponge and absorbing all the knowledge that other people have experienced in the field, in the respective field that you're in, that take your university's opportunities. Don't take it too lightly. Like literally, if you see it on an email, check your emails.
Check it.
That's what the blessing.
Listen, Nia, I work in higher education, and I want you to say that one more time. What they need to do?
They need to check their email.
Check their school email, right?
Check their school email. Yes, ma'am. Yes, that's where the blessings be.
Look, Nia, I need to post that on a billboard. Check the school email because there's so many opportunities. I sent out an email last summer where students had an opportunity to get free laptops. When I tell you, people came back to school and they're like, are those laptops still? Like, they didn't check their email till months later. You know what I mean? So that's important. So you touched on a few things. The importance of, checking out these careers, the importance of using your campus resources, such as career services, to help you get internships, to help you get jobs post-graduation, to help you with those resumes. And look, because your tuition and fees pays for that, utilize those services. I think those offices, that office, career services, is such an underused resource on campus. Again, I want to reiterate that you are like, I'm going to finish out computer science, but I'm going to pivot, go to law school and do cyber law. We know that there's so many cyber crimes going on, from the chat rooms with pedophilia, older people trying to prey on young children. Now they have the metaverse, where someone said that they experienced sexual assault in the metaverse. So there's going to be new laws, new precedents coming along, and you're going to be on the cusp of that. You're going to be at the forefront of that with cyber law. Just a quick story. When I was in undergrad, I was a nursing major up into junior year. There was some things going on. We won't get into it. But I was able to pivot into health education and administration, where I was able to change majors, but I didn't have to start all over because the classes that I had were just moving me forward. So the young people out there, you can pivot or move forward and have a plan for grad school. I think that's the message there. So great job, Nia. What would you tell your younger self about your current position?
I would say about my current position, this is a product of letting go and letting God.
Say it one more time.
Yeah, this is a product of letting go and letting God. I'm also a Christian myself, and we all think we got this life figured out. And you get humbled real quick that no, you don't. As a freshman, doubting myself being Miss Prairie View, and I'm a Miss Prairie View as a junior. But just that experience, seeing my transformation, it's I'm still speechless. So just letting go and letting God, and just believe in yourself, that you can just trust myself. It's honestly, at the end of the day, is trust yourself. For me, I think that was one of my weakest points. Whenever I was given advice and reassurance, it was always like, what is not clicking in your head? Like, why can I see something in you that you can't see in your own self? So it was just really trusting myself and seeing that I am capable and I am able. And honestly, I think I had just won Miss Prairie View, and I felt God tell me that you're more than able. Whenever I had these crazy doubts, so my university, when it comes to the pageant, it's not a popularity vote. Not that, there's no work put behind the popularity, like the whole pageant experience. But for me, it was more so like hard work, and popularity was 10%. Okay. I was not popular at all. So I literally it got me out of my shell. I had to stop. I had to talk. I had to get myself out there in order for them to see me as a queen for them. But I just remember just doubting myself. I'm like, okay, now I'm here. Like, I know I was depending on you through this whole journey, but now I'm here and now I don't know what to do. Like, people are now going to expect a lot from me, and I don't think I can give that to them. And I haven't experienced 3 years of college yet. I've only experienced 2. And it was just a lot. It was a lot going on. I'm a computer science major. This is heavy work. How am I going to be able to balance the 2 of these things? And I just remember God saying, you're more than able. Period, point blank. You're more than able. Like, it was just silence after that. I was like, I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna just keep driving, because I was like, there's nothing else I can keep going back and forth with, because you said it. Like, you said it, and that's it. And I just had to just walk in that truth, and knowing that if God was going to give that to me, then it was meant for me. So.
That's right. If he'll bring you to it, he'll lead you through it. He's going to
yes.
You're more than able. Hallelujah. What advice would you share with someone aspiring to be an HBCU queen?
Yes, this advice that I'm about to give carried me through my pageant. Do not look at your competition. That's going to be so hard, but do not look at your competition, because when you do that, you're putting energy in somebody else and not yourself. And you think of all these things, and they might be struggling. They might put on a smile up front, and you over here thinking like, man, they're doing real good.
Yeah.
No, you have to put all that energy in yourself, perfect your craft, perfect what you want to do. And prioritize yourself. Take care of yourself, though. So I understand it's overwhelming whenever, you're in that process, but find those healthy ways to relieve that stress. Go on a run, journal, talk to yourself again, do whatever you need to do. Like, find those happy and healthy ways to cope with all that stress, because it is a stressful situation. But when you get in that process, do not compare yourself to anybody. Everybody is uniquely and wonderfully made, and you do not need to compare yourself. Honestly, that's the judge's job, is to compare. Okay.
So, not yours. There.
Yeah, until that day of the competition, you don't got nothing. That's not part of your job description right now. You need to be worried about yourself and making sure that you're being sold in the way that you want to be sold, your reputation.
Yeah, listen, the word got something for everything. It says comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It shows.
So you said, listen, do not compare yourself to those other queens, because you don't know what they went through to get where they got. You don't know what they're doing to stay.
Exactly.
Focus on you. And this has been a joy. We've come to our last question, but I think it's one that you're going to love. What makes your HBCU stand out as the best HBCU in the land?
So my HBCU, it's my family lineage now. Honestly, it is. I feel walking on PV is like a textbook, a history textbook. So our presidents, our principals, you'll walk around, street names are named after them. You'll find buildings that are named after significant people in PV's history. You'll see statues and that had a pivotal moment in African-American culture and African-American history that also applied to PV's history. For me, it just holds so much history and richness. Like, I remember talking to my grandmother about PV, and I had told her about a building, and she was like, yeah, that was the library. And I was like, that's the math department. It's completely different. The library is down the street. So it's amazing to see how PV just grew so much, but PV holds so much culture, so much richness, so much community. And I can't say other universities since I haven't really been there, but it's just community built. It's meant for you to grow and transform. And to see the history, it's like you're living it. You're living your history. If you see a street name of the principal or president,
yeah,
you know that there's something that's about to come for you too as well. And
that's right.
it's like you touch that land, it's magic. Like magic is happening.
Magical soil, magical.
Yes,
That's
magical
the
soil.
ancestors raining down. What are there any like unique PV traditions that like students do that is like uniquely you all's?
So we point to the hill.
We
That's
point to
one.
the hill.
That's our symbol.
Why we point to the hill
So that's like the highest point of like
of
from
the campus?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what
Do you have to like run the hill or anything like before you graduate? Do you have to like get up there?
No, we don't. But one thing that is very significant, because it was a plantation, we do have we pay homage to not stepping on the grass. You just don't step on the grass. You'll find every way. If you see a sidewalk, a curb, you do your best to not step on the grass. It's just to give our respects to our ancestors, and just not even knowing, where they might be laying at rest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I love that. And I want to end something with what Miss Dale, a former Tennessee State Queen, said. She explained that homecoming courts date as far back as the 1920s. And as more students showed up to the campuses of Black colleges and universities, the tradition began to increase and gain importance in the African American culture. Members of courts tend to be elected by their schools in their junior or senior years and installed in positions of leadership to represent the student body. The naming of queen or king is just the beginning of a year-long duty to the school until the next year comes around. And so, Miss Nia, I just want to let you know that you are really keeping a beautiful tradition going with your spirit, your leadership, your understanding of this world as the world, as you're growing into this world and what is to come. You're on a excellent path, and I'm so glad to have met you. And you are doing the seat of Miss Prairie View A&M University real justice. You are truly a reigning queen, and you are supreme.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed this conversation. Yes, it was beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. So in true Tynee Talks fashion, we have what is called our shout out. So who do you want to give a shout out to today?
Okay, let me honestly would love to give a shout out to my hairstylist.
She did that.
Yes, made in Asia, but AEJA.
Okay, made in Asia. I love that.
Yes, she did. She always does her good work on me, and I love it. Always so understanding and appreciative of my just coming there, but as well as knowing my busy schedule.
Mm-hmm.
That's my girl.
Shout out to Asia. Anybody else you want to give a shout out to?
Honestly, since my brother, I'll give him a shout out. So my brother and I also go to PV together. So that was a experience because he's older than me and he transferred to PV. So I always followed in his footsteps and throughout public school. And that was like, I got here first and then now he's here. And it's kind of cool because he always he kind of basically, what do I say, made a name for himself. And then I kind of followed in his footsteps. Like I was right there. And that was like, I made a name for myself and now he's there. So it's kind of cool. But he's my support system, my rock. Whatever, everything was going stressful throughout the pageant semester, and even being Miss Prairie View, like he really made sure to keep me on deck, like ready for anything and restoring me if Miss Brandon wasn't available. And then I also want to give a shout out to Miss Proctor. She was my pageant advisor. Oh, since we're getting here, she's my pageant advisor. And then Taverlyn, she's my sister queen, the one that reigned last year. Those two have helped me out so much throughout this whole experience. And I'm so blessed to have them in my life because I couldn't imagine this experience without them and all the kind words and advice that they've given me, because they just made me into a stronger woman. And there's not a lot of thank yous. I can't say enough thank yous for the work that they've done for me.
Well, thank you. Well, Thank you all, my listeners, my talkers out there, for tuning in to another episode of the Tynee Talks podcast. If you haven't already, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and let them know this is the podcast where you come to laugh and learn, the podcast that educates and entertains. I'd like to give one last shout out to HBCU Only, raising the bar for HBCU celebrations, for putting the Reigning Supreme series, getting that going with us. And I want to give a shout out to you, Miss McNeal, for just representing what it means to be a beautiful black queen.
Thank
All
you.
right.